This is Calvin Castine. It's the 6th day of August 2002. And we are at the lakeshore area here, not quite sure, basin area, for the arrival of the Lieutenant Governor of the state of New York. Assemblyman Ortloff is accompanying her. And we're here for an announcement pertaining to the waterfront, and the city of Plattsburgh and the village of Rouses Point are affected by the news that's going to be happening right here. Grants being awarded to the city of Plattsburgh and the village of Rouses Point for waterfront improvement. The Spirit of Plattsburgh behind us, and Naked Turtle behind us.
It's great to be back. I was here on this dock within the last couple of months, and actually it was a similar day weather-wise, but it was a lot windier. So I'm glad to be back and to make a very important announcement. And for this announcement, it's only appropriate that your local leadership has joined me. Assemblyman Ortloff, I'm pleased that you could be here this morning, particularly since your involvement and your cooperation with the Quality Communities Task Force that I chaired on behalf of the governor, which resulted in these demonstration projects. Mayor Stewart, Dan and I have discussed frequently initiatives to enhance the waterfront usage here in Plattsburgh, so I know this is a happy day for you to see Plattsburgh included among the choices that we've made for demonstration projects. Just over 2 years ago, the governor created the Quality Communities Task Force and asked me to chair that. We discussed at that time needs of various communities across the state, including Plattsburgh and Rouses Point. I'm very pleased that Mayor George Rivers is here this morning to celebrate with us the selection of Rouses Point. And Rosemarie Schoonmaker, the director of the Plattsburgh Community Development Initiative and Agency. It is an agency, correct reference to it. We have all been involved in talking about quality communities initiatives. When I chaired that task force, I did a hearing right here in Plattsburgh and heard from community experts and citizens from around the area about the needs for Plattsburgh, for Rouses Point, and for the North Country. After we held all of those hearings, the task force membership and myself made recommendations to the governor that focused on historic preservation, land use. We have to balance land use preservation and community development with equal consideration given to economic as well as environmental initiatives. That was especially critical with the directive that the governor gave me as chair of the Quality Communities Task Force. We have to remember that, of course, jobs and business will always be a bottom line to ensure that not only we can stay in our chosen areas of residency in upstate New York. I'm biased about that. I'm an upstater from Rensselaer County. So it's especially important to me that communities like Plattsburgh and Rouses Point, like my home community in Troy, receive the backing, the support, yes, the funding that we need to stay in our chosen places of residence, not only for ourselves, but for our children and for future generations in these beautiful areas of upstate New York. So as chair of that task force, I delivered to the governor 41 recommendations that covered not only Brooklyn, not only Long Island, but that focused on each community in New York State, that we could respect your choices for what you want your definition of quality community to be. As a result of those recommendations, the governor created an interagency working group. I had emphasized to him when I gave him the report that I thought establishment of that working group was pivotal to ensuring that our report was more than just a piece of paper. What good would it be unless those 41 recommendations became a reality for the people across New York State? He rewarded that emphasis by asking me to chair the interagency working group. I was pleased that he did ask me to assume that responsibility, because the working group is going to be implementing the demonstration projects, is going to be implementing all of the 41 recommendations. Some of them are already implemented, but we're working together to ensure that all of those 25 state agencies, which were represented through their heads on the task force with me, are still involved in ensuring that their goals are efficient not only at the state level, but more importantly at the local level. That's where we believe the power has to be. And that's why initiatives like the one I'm announcing this morning will emphasize a bottoms-up strategy. We will implement the initiatives that you have chosen. We want to give you leadership to ensure that those visions and those initiatives are realistic and achievable. But you are the ones who live in this community. We have to respect your choices. And that's why choosing Plattsburgh and Rouses Point as 2 of the 12 demonstration projects was especially important to the governor and myself. Your local leadership, Senator Stafford, who was unable to join us this morning. Where's Tom Cronin? Is Tom here representing the senator? Good. Thanks for being here with us, Tom. Senator Stafford, Assemblyman Ortler, Mayor Stewart, the Mayor of Rouses Point, all of us have been emphasizing what your decisions are for your community. As a result of that, let me give you a few examples of what we plan to do through these demonstration projects. The subcommittee of the working group, the Community Development Subcommittee, which is chaired by our Secretary of State, Randy Daniels, will be working directly with me and with your local leaders to make sure that the type of initiatives I'm going to be mentioning now are realized as soon as possible. For example, in Plattsburgh, we're going to continue focusing on the city's current revitalization strategy of taking better advantage of the Lake Champlain and Saranac River related development and tourism opportunities. To support your efforts to further capitalize on your beautiful waterfront, this is a great place to be at this time of year particularly. Our governor recently announced a $250,000 grant from the state's Environmental Protection Fund to advance Plattsburgh's proposal to reuse the rail yard site for commercial development as well as waterfront recreation. The rail yard project will build on the city's success here at Plattsburgh Landing, where the spirit of Plattsburgh has a new home and where many recreational boaters go to the popular Plattsburgh boat basin. We will continue the initiatives also with Rouses Point, again, with a waterfront emphasis. Our efforts through this Quality Communities demonstration project will focus on encouraging more private investment in downtown as well as the waterfront, while ensuring use of the village's waterfront for public access as well as recreation. Well, Rouses Point is already taking advantage of its Lake Champlain and Richelieu River waterfronts by providing a pedestrian and boater-friendly waterfront for residents as well as visitors. I want to welcome both of these communities to our demonstration projects list. The other 10 are from areas in Western New York, communities like Lockport and Jamestown, as well as on Long Island. We have a few communities there also. But we want to make sure that we produce and we work closely, especially with the communities in the North Country, who've been so supportive of what we've been doing and so receptive to the fact that it's going to take time. We have to be methodical. We have to stay consistent as a team. That's what we've already shown in working with your leadership here. We're going to continue doing that with your support. Congratulations, and I'll look forward to being back soon to see the results, which I know will be successful, particularly in view of the local leadership that's going to undertake this. Mayor Stewart, I know this is a big day for you as well as for me, and I'd like you at this time to have an opportunity to say a few words if you'd like to.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you, everybody who attended today. We really appreciate you coming out. The City of Plattsburgh is moving forward with the state on a daily basis. Department of State, all the agencies involved, trying to bring this vision through of waterfront reuse and downtown redevelopment. Last week at a Common Council meeting, another sign of the interactivity between government was the city signing on with the county for a parking garage study to put up a parking garage at the county building. One step moving forward on what we plan to link our downtown with our waterfront. As the Lieutenant Governor just mentioned, the $250,000 grant that came in from the state which was a great boost for us. But little did we know that there was another $250,000 that came in a couple of days later as a member item from Senator Stafford. This is really great for us. It helps to once again move along the opportunities of designs that we can create for what the waterfront of the city of Plattsburgh will look like. We have another hotel chain that called wanting to know what we were doing, whether or not they could come in. These are exciting times for us in the city of Plattsburgh to have these things happening. Our downtown and our waterfront must be linked. I really want to thank the media for indulging me for the last 2.5 years of my constant saying that we were going to do something, and through the Quality Communities program, which was one of the meetings was chaired here by the Lieutenant Governor in Plattsburgh, we truly are moving along with this, and I thank you for hanging on in there while we move along. It's a very important time for the city of Plattsburgh. It is our future. If we want to become a destination center, we have to have the capability of providing for the people that are coming here to visit, and those who want to relocate here for jobs. Tremendous work being done by the Development Corporation, Park, everybody involved in making this a better place to live. So Lieutenant Governor, please pass on to the Governor our thanks. Once again, you've done a great job for us. We truly appreciate it, and I do envision that those 14 acres over there are going to be something very, very different in the next few years, and it's because of the work and the partnership with the state and our local community we can make that happen. Thank you.
Mayor Rivers, you've been a great leader in Rouses Point, and we're looking forward to working with you on this project, and we'd like to hear from you at this time, too.
Well, first of all, the village of Rouses Point is really pleased to be picked as one of these communities. People that have to be thanked certainly is the governor, the lieutenant governor, Governor Pataki and Lieutenant Governor Donahue, Senator Ron Stafford and Chris Hartloff, Assemblyman Chris Hartloff, have been very helpful to us in the past few years. We started this project, I think, about 4 years ago, and it seems like it's dragged out forever, but now I think we're going to actually see some great results on that boardwalk. The Office of Park and Recreation, Bernadette Castro, who just gave us a grant of $200,000. Certainly, Secretary of State Randy Daniels, who came up and saw us last October. Our county legislator, Celine Paquette, which has been sort of a person we've leaned on and has helped us out. Our county planner, Rodney Brown, has worked very closely with us. And certainly my board of trustees, which have been very, very supportive of these projects. Can't say enough about that. It's gratifying to see that we are finally moving in a direction of positive things instead of negative. I think the village has a lot to offer, and I hopefully we can offer a lot more. And I want to thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for this presentation.
As I mentioned a few minutes ago, Chris Ortliff has been an integral part of this Quality Communities initiative. And Chris and I have worked closely together since '98, when I became Lieutenant Governor. And you mentioned, Mayor Rivers, about how much this area has going for it. I have to say, without reservation, what the most important thing this area has going for it is its people. And Chris represents that image very ably in Albany. So I'm pleased you're able to join us this morning, Chris, and I'd like you to say a few words.
Thank you. As I look around, there are so many people here who deserve the credit. Beginning, of course, with Governor Pataki, who had the vision to start the process, and Lieutenant Governor Mary Donahue, a former district attorney, a former Supreme Court justice, who gave up a position on the Supreme Court to become our Lieutenant Governor, for chairing this task force. Our work on this task force is going to be among the most productive long-term legacies of the Pataki administration because of the way, as you mentioned, Lieutenant Governor, it draws upon the vision of the local community, the visions of individuals who work through their communities, and particularly local leaders like Mayor Stewart and Mayor Rivers, but not limited to them. We who serve in public office are only as good as the people we draw to us and who we reach out to work with. Eddie Rickenbacker said something I'm reminded of today. Eddie Rickenbacker was the famous World War I ace who then went on to be a very effective World War II ace. Had this advice regarding how to be successful. I can give you a 6-word formula for success, he said. Think things through and then follow through. I'm proud to say that our local and state leaders and our local and state governments have come together and followed through to bring about the Quality Communities Project. This project will energize our North Country communities, all of them. The examples that Plattsburgh and Rouses Point set in the demonstration project will write the book on how each and every community can follow their lead, can follow the formula to success, can follow through. Now is the time for every North Country community to take advantage of these unique opportunities. We must continue to improve all our communities every day, because the higher quality of life for the people who live here and those who will live here tomorrow is our number one job as elected officials. And we must do it together as a team. You talk about a team. I look around this crowd. Former City Councilor Christine Rotella, who got into government with a vision for making downtown Plattsburgh a better place to do business, to live, and an example of what this community could be. Dr. Randy Stoloff is coming on as a volunteer to make this whole waterfront a showcase, a model. Paul Cloutier, the former mayor of Rouses Point, John Huckrow on the village board, Celine Paquette, what you've done with your vision. You've followed through. You've gotten the attention of the top people in the state. And your vision's going to come to bear. I would be remiss not to mention Dan Winnicky, whose vision for the waterfront that Park now controls and will pass on to future generations is second to none. Here's a man who lies awake nights, wakes up in the middle of the night with an idea. And more often than not, probably 95% of the time, they're good ideas. They're visionary ideas. They're big ideas. I see Sarah Rowden, who through her own personal struggles the last few years has still maintained her vision for her part of this county and the waterfront that she represents. Better access to Lake Champlain. Dory Kurtz, who works so hard to bring industry into this town and jobs. Carolyn Harding, my gosh, what Carolyn Harding does as a volunteer and as a paid worker, we don't pay you enough, Carolyn. Nobody could pay you enough. You know, and each and every one of us, Henry Fortan, the chairman of Park, and Randy Beach, the former chairman of Park, you get what I'm saying. Even those, the media, Calvin Castine, the people who run our community in every regard, do it with a vision because they believe this is a wonderful place to live and they want to make it so. So, Lieutenant Governor, a little dissertation on all the wonderful people. Rosemary Schoonmaker, gosh, how hard you work. This project will be the key with all of your continued efforts for a prosperous and effective North Country economy for many years to come. And it will also, as I said, allow the city of Plattsburgh and the village of Rouses Point, 2 of the 12, right here in the Champlain Valley, to show the rest of the state what we already know. The North Country is a great place to live, and that we're making it better. Thank you for allowing me the time to share with you our vision for the future. And with persistence and follow through, we'll get there.
As the Assemblyman mentioned, there are many people here who had this vision long before it was brought to the state's attention for this demonstration project. Rosemary Schoonmaker is definitely one of those individuals who deserves quite a large share of the credit. She was involved in the application, and we had many hundreds of applications. I can't emphasize enough how it's a very special tribute to the potential of Plattsburgh and to her leadership that this has happened this morning. And before I introduce her, finish my introduction, I want to emphasize that the fact that Plattsburgh was chosen is not because we thought it was in such dire need because of gaps in leadership, because we know that the type of leadership she's shown, as well as the mayor and both of the mayors, indicates to us that what you've already built can be realized and that it's a wise investment. So Rosemary, we'd like to hear from you at this time and some of your thoughts on what brought us here today and where we're going from today.
It's quite an honor to have the opportunity to speak to all of you today and to be here with the Lieutenant Governor. Through the years, I've been Community Development Director, and I can't tell you from the bottom of my heart what this really means to be here today, looking at the beautiful spirit of Plattsburgh and this waterfront. Oh, I'd say about a year or so ago, the mayor, and all of you who know the mayor will know that he does say things like this. He says, "Rosemary, I have an idea, and I want you to make it happen." Make it so. And the reality of it is that he tells us, his people, to make it so, when it's really him and his team, the governor, right from the governor to the lieutenant governor to the senator to the assemblyman and everybody that is making it so today. And that's why I'm so proud to stand here, because I look out at all the people that are here, and Chris, thank you for taking what I was going to say, because it's so true. It's so true. I look at everybody here, and there's not one person that's standing here that hasn't contributed to some of these projects that we're working on for the last few years. The waterfront. We have people in the audience who donated monies to making the artwork here. We have city workers who saw this vision and said, you know, I want to create some art down there and make it feel like it's the waterfront. And so they did the cattails and the fish, and there'll be herring in there soon and other things. Mike Shea, the boat tour operator, he heard the mayor and the governor speaking somewhere, and he called the mayor and said, I want to be part of that. I mean, it goes on and on. We have local business people like John Seaton in the audience who helped start the development of downtown. It's just absolutely incredible when I look around, and I hate to mention people because I know there's other people that I will be forgetting, and I do not want to forget anybody. It's all of you who have played such an important role with the downtown development, the waterfront development, and I can see it now. The hotel is going to sit there because it will happen, because with the governor and the lieutenant governor by our side, this will happen. And again, I want to thank you for doing this.
I think we've said it all. Now, let's begin. We're going to complete this. It's going to be a success, and best wishes and thank you for each and every one of yours cooperation in this regard. Have a good day.
That'll wrap up Hometown Cable's coverage of this event, and we should point out that as a volunteer, Paul Cloutier was the equivalent, so to speak, of Rosemary Schoonmaker for Rouses Point. He has done a lot of work assuring that grant. So that's it. Thanks for watching and for supporting Hometown Cable's efforts.